Aaron Gordon's 361 AG1 has been updated with two new versions. The first is the Pro and the second is the SE. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel, and today we are talking about the two updated versions of Aaron Gordon's first signature shoe, official signature shoe. He's been wearing the 361 models for a while. We actually did a video on the first one, and then we did break down these guys not too long ago, and that was a real fun video. A lot of you guys liked that because I busted out what they had given me, which is all the tech specs, but all apart, which is really cool. And in that video, I had to explain that there's going to be a second model. So the first one that I've been playing in features this little shank plate right at the midfoot right there, and it's a pretty strong TPU. And then the Pro version, which is this guy right here, now has a carbon fiber one, which is even stronger, which is crazy. That's not the only difference though, which I was actually surprised with. I thought that this would literally be a copy of the original, but with a new shank plate, and it's not. There's just extra little things throughout the shoe that kind of beef it up, which I really like. One of those things I wish was actually the traction. I know why it's not. Like these both have the same exact outsole as the original, and when I got these guys, the only area that I was able to play in was outside, so that's what I did. And I was worried about that because they're just little tiny nubs, man. And some of the nubs are completely gone in certain areas, like my high wear areas or my dragging zones or whatever. The good thing though is that it actually grips really well. So while it lasts, you're actually getting great traction. Now the good thing is that I finally got into a gym. And so I'm excited to try these guys out indoors eventually. Let's see, so there's the New Balance shoe, which I already wore outside. Those are actually really good. The two waist, those break in so nicely. Then there's the Jalen 1 and there's the Zion 1. Those are so generic looking. Like I thought that they were just something else. And then the GT cut, those are in the bag. So yeah, so those are the ones that are like my high priorities right now. So I'll get to these eventually, but just know that I do really like this shoe, especially outdoors. The cushion is crazy. So indoors, I'm just hoping that the traction works, because if it does, then that would make this shoe in any of its iterations a beast. Now, speaking of the cushion, this guy right here has the same exact cushion as the original, and these guys have it too. This one, I really love the frame. It looks so cool. Looks like a bowling ball. This one right here is the SE. I thought it was gonna be called the Light, but it's just called the SE, and it's a lighter version. It removes a lot of the layers that both the regular and the Pro have. But again, they have the same exact cushion. So got that outsole right there. This is what rubber looks like on shoes. It's very thin, but it usually works really well depending on the pattern and the rubber compound. However, this is also why a lot of shoes don't last too long. It's because they reduce a lot of the weight by thinning it out quite a bit, which is a lot different than 90s shoes. And then this is the cushion system. So it's a two-layered system right here, and you can see just from the visuals that the forefoot area is going to be the black section, whereas the majority of the heel is going to be the two-layer, even though this is pretty thin. So I believe 361 is calling this stuff their quick foam, but this is essentially, what is it that they call this in Skechers? They call it the Burst, right? So there's that, and then Brand Black calls their version of it a Supercritical Jetlon. But basically this is, it's not packing foam, it is a type of EVA. We actually did an interview with David Race, who is one of the co-owners, co-founders, and lead designer over at Brand Black, and he's the tech junkie guy. We did an IG Live interview with him, and he broke down exactly like how this stuff is made. So if you want to check that out, it's on the Wear Testers Instagram. But essentially they take something like this, but it's smaller, and then they put it inside of a canister, infuse it with a lot of nitrogen, I guess, and it just kind of like the pressure makes it supercritical and makes it expand into a bigger version of the shape that it already is, and that becomes your cushion system. So it explodes the unit. It makes a lot of air pockets in there. It almost looks like styrofoam. Once it's done, it's super interesting, and yeah, I just think it's very cool. Not styrofoam, I meant packing peanuts. Styrofoam's kind of dense. That's what Boost looks like, and that's an eTPU. This stuff right here, the supercritical stuff, looks like the packing foam. Like, those little things that when you get it wet, it like shrivels up into nothing.
Ghost poop.
Ghost poop, exactly. And then the black section is what they call Neofoam, and again, in the forefoot area, that's the primary cushion source, and then they just kind of like line the outrigger area with that. I was quite surprised outdoors, because when I was running around, you can actually feel that forefoot section of supercritical foam underneath your foot, which is real interesting, because I thought it would was going to be nothing, but you can actually feel it upon certain movements. And yes, it would be unstable had they not put around the frame right here. So that's what that section is. Now the upper on both of these are very, very similar. They're just slightly different in certain areas, mostly in this black fuse section on the original. So it's kind of, you know, lines the entire lateral side of the shoe. They removed all of that and actually put an actual overlay of synthetic leather on there, which I think is great. So both will do really well on court as far as containment goes. However, I do like the overlays more than fuse. I just think that they look better. They give a little bit more volume and dimension to the design. This works just fine. It's a little bit cheaper as far as manufacturing costs go. And so that's pretty much the main difference between the regular version and the Pro. It was not just the inclusion of carbon fiber. It was a little bit more than that, which is really cool. And that's where we come in with the SE. That's where this guy does the exact opposite of the Pro, and they put on a ton of fuse layers. They almost don't look like the same shoe along the upper. They removed a lot of stuff. They took off the knit. They put on a TPU-based mesh. You can see actual mesh underneath that, which is cool. But yeah, there's just a lot more plastic on this one. Surprisingly enough, I like the way that these ones look more. I don't know why. I just don't like the material setup. It will work fine on court. It's just that my preference would be more along these lines. You know what I mean? So if they were able to combine the two, I think that would be crazy and would be really interesting visually too, because I really like the rear section of this shoe. I like all of this stuff. You got a little bit of extra Aaron Gordon stuff over there, even though he's not in Orlando anymore, over in Denver. He requested a trade and they granted that to him.
Did they switch his number?
Good question. I haven't even paid attention to that. Let me check real quick. They did. He's no longer 00. He's now Agent 50. You know, it is what it is. That's what happens though when you have a shoe deal or when you're a shoe company and you have an athlete. Sometimes it changes mid-run. And we've seen that all the time, like especially if people like back in the day, like in the 90s and stuff, like we're used to this. It's not anything crazy. What is crazy is how fast they actually can fix this stuff. Not for retail versions of the shoe, but for the player. So the PEs, like they are going full swing into production as soon as a trade happens. That way this guy can get a pair that will match his current jersey as soon as possible. So it's really interesting the way that all this stuff works. Now, as far as fit is concerned, these guys right here, I actually went with a Euro size 42. My typical Euro size is 42.5, but 42 is what I'd recommend. So that is down half a size from your US size. That's exactly what I would recommend. These guys are available in the US. I just don't think that all of them are available yet. I think that you can get these ones in a couple of different colors. These ones I haven't seen. Maybe they're available by the time that this goes up, but as far as what I've seen online, I have not seen them yet. They might be available overseas already though.
I just wanted to talk about his logo on the shoe. I really like it. This one here.
No, I know. I like it a lot.
It reminds me of, in Avatar, the good Avatar.
The real Avatar, not the blue things. We're talking about
The Last Airbender.
Real quick, before you get into it, okay? Just so that everybody understands, I've never, ever once, ever called Avatar, The Last Airbender in anime. I've always said it's the best animated series. Anime and animated are two different words.
Yes.
So for all you guys that get triggered over nothing, let the video play a little bit. So instead of me saying Avatar is the best anime, and then that's when you stop listening, that's not what I said. I said best animated series of all time. Like, Batman, it's called Batman the Animated Series, but it's not anime. It doesn't say it's anime, it says animated, which means cartoon. So Avatar, The Last Airbender is one of the best animated series of all time. You're welcome.
All right, so it just reminds me of Katara's necklace that she wears, her mother's wedding necklace. And I know...
The Water Tribe.
Well, the thing is, I know...
Southern Water Tribe.
That all of them are different. So like when Katara gets one eventually from Aang, this is like in the comic books.
Oh, okay, super nerdy.
Hers, I believe, has a symbol from the Air Nomads.
The Air Nation?
Yeah, because...
That's cool.
So anyways, that's just...
Oh, so it's personal to who's giving it to you.
Yes.
I see. That's awesome. And yes, I do like his logo. It's throughout the shoe. What I really like about it is that it's a little metal piece.
Well, and on this one, it's a...
Yeah, that's because this one, they're going light. So none of the really cool features or little trinket type of features that are on these, they're not on this one whatsoever. This is a straight up like lightweight version of these shoes. But the Pro and the regular version, they they have this little metal icon of the AG, and I just think it looks really dope. But that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. This is the AG1 Pro. This is the AG1 SE. Super lightweight version. Still has all the same great tech specs underneath your foot. These guys right here just give you a little bit over your foot, so a little bit more layers, which I enjoy. And, yeah, you can grab these somewhere online. I'll put a link maybe if I can find it. It's really hard to find links to the 361 stuff. They're not new, but they're not prominent as far as like bringing their shoes over here.
Yeah. Isn't 361 like based down in Southern California though?
No.
No?
No, I think
What am I thinking of?
that's Peak. Yeah, and Peak left after Tony Parker retired because they didn't have like athletes to market here. And even then, like it wasn't successful because Nike
is king.
Yeah. You know, people don't want to try new stuff.
You already ranted about anime versus animation.
I just needed to make it clear. I never called it anime. Anime is a different beast. Anime is great, but Avatar has anime influences, but it's not an anime. For all you weirdos.
It's like Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go.
We don't talk about Teen
They
Titans
have
Go.
influence, but they are not.
Teen Titans was a good show. Teen Titans Go is awful. Okay?
No, it's fun. It's pretty funny.
I don't want to like it, but there are funny parts.
Yeah.
What is it, the song that...
Burritos are yummy.
Which is not true. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about the AG1, AG Pro, AG1 SE. I did that in one fell swoop. I know, but I did have to think a little bit. And with that being said, thank you so much for everything. And until next time, guys, have a good one.
Burritos are yummy.
So are burgers
are gross.
with cheese and bacon and mustard.
Hungry?
Mm-hmm.